Yes, what is up? I am back and feeling great to be home after some extensive traveling, which means it's time to celebrate by taking the award show I did on a yearly basis, minus last year, so you don't have to call me out in the comments, and bringing it to you on a weekly basis. So buckle up because it's time for the Jimmy Awards. And first up is the Player of the Week, and the nominees are Raheem Sterling, who, despite the enormous amount of scrutiny and pressure that he's under, not only to help Manchester City repeat as champions of the Premier League, but also with the abuse that he takes in the media and from opposing supporters, which I'm not sure how he handles it because I would have lost my shit at some point if I was him. So Raheem, you have emerged as a true role model for me, and I really appreciate it. And you keep getting better and stronger and performing at a super high level as the season goes on, as you notch 2 goals in City's huge 3-1 win away from home against an always tough Crystal Palace, which keeps City in control of their fate. And then there's Mohamed Salah, who with a man-of-the-match performance overall and with one incredible thunderbolt off of his left foot specifically, which just happened to put the exclamation point on Liverpool's massive 2-0 win at home against Chelsea, I really feel like it started the healing process in some way for Liverpool supporters after Steven Gerrard's infamous slip against Chelsea, which arguably lost them the league 5 seasons ago. Anyway, with regard to Salah, this is the type of performance where big-time players show up in big-time games. And then finally, the last option for me to decide on is Benfica's João Felix, who had 3 goals and an assist in Benfica's 4-2 win in leg 1 of the Europa League quarterfinals over the very hot Eintracht Frankfurt. And then he had a goal which ended up as the game winner and 2 assists in Benfica's must-win game at home over Vitória de Setúbal. I think I said that right, to remain on top of the table in Portugal. And the winner is, drumroll please, João Felix. And the reason is, not only because he's 19 years old, which helps, I guess in some ways to sway me a bit, but it wasn't the deciding factor. The deciding factor was that he did it in both games this past week, whereas with Raheem Sterling, he was solid, but ultimately a loser midweek to Spurs in the Champions League, and then Mohamed Salah, though super active throughout, didn't end up having as much of an impact in Liverpool's 2-0 win over Porto. So congrats to the teenager João on winning this week's Player of the Week Jimmy Award. And next up is the Team of the Week, and the nominees are Lille for taking advantage of an own goal and a red card and applying a much needed and I'm sure very cathartic beatdown of eventual league champions PSG 5-1, which gets Lille that much closer to locking in the Champions League for next season. And then there is Spal, who had the shock result of the weekend when they surprisingly beat Juventus 2-1, when all Juve needed to win the Scudetto for the 100th time in a row was a draw, which now almost guarantees Spal their safety in the top flight. My guess is that they need about 4 or 5 more points in their remaining games to make that happen, and I hope that they do because Spal is an awesome name. And then, y entonces, finally I have to give a nomination to León, who have been lights out in Mexico this Clausura season, and they proved it again this week when they went away from home against Puebla, a team who had to win to help their playoff chances, and beat their Culos 3-0, which keeps León on top of the table by 3 points over Tigres with 3 games left to go. It's a Lion versus Tigers in Mexico. Also, fun fact, the game-winning goal in this one was scored by 31-year-old Ecuadorian international Angel Mena, who leads the Golden Boot race with 12 goals in 14 games, so a hat tip to a guy doing the business even though he's on the wrong side of 30. And the winner of the Jimmy is, drumroll please, Spal, because that was the first time they have beaten Juve in the top flight since 1962, and that is pretty rad, so congrats to all the warm Spallers out there. You like what I did there? Warm ballers, Spal. I know you liked it. And next up is the Manager of the Week, and the nominees are Tottenham's Mauricio Pochettino, who outcoached arguably one of the best coaches in the world in Pep Guardiola, and Spurs' big 1-0 leg 1 win in the Champions League quarterfinals midweek. Then, without his best player Harry Kane, who looks to be out for the rest of the season, which has to suck for them, he puts out a team on the weekend that smashed Huddersfield 4-0, which should give his men plenty of confidence to go into the Etihad this week and get a result in leg 2, and that is a testament to his leadership. And then there's LAFC's Bob Bradley, who has not only assembled an incredibly talented team, which is no easy feat in MLS given all of the salary rules and restrictions, and in a short period of time, since this is only the start of their 2nd ever year of existence, but he's also got them playing together, and it showed again this weekend in their 2-0 win at home over FC Cincinnati, which for me makes LAFC currently the best team in the league, and that's on Bob. He knows how to build winning teams. And then finally there's Ajax's Erik ten Hag, who I thought was spot on with his tactics against Juve in leg 1 of the Champions League quarterfinals, which Juve's manager Maxi Allegri didn't seem to have answers for other than letting Cristiano Ronaldo score. Like, that's our main tactic. Unfortunately, it didn't lead to anything substantial since Ajax and Juve drew 1-1, but from my vantage point, they deserve more because they took it to Juve, and I respect that approach. Also, with their big 6-2 win over Excelsior over the weekend, they remain on top of the table in the Eredivisie, but only on goal difference over PSV Eindhoven. So scoring 6 goals this past weekend could go a long way to them winning the league for the first time in 5 seasons. Now that we know the nominees, let's get to the winner. And it's Mauricio Pochettino. No new signings in the last 2 transfer windows? No problem. No new stadium to start the season? No problem. No Harry Kane? No problem. He's going to win with whoever he has available, so congrats on the award, Mauricio, and we'll see if you're a nominee next week. And finally, in the last category, it's the Warm Baller of the Week, which is given to the player that is doing positive things both on and off the field. And we're going to start with Moise Kean, the 19-year-old striker for Juventus who, despite crushing pressure from the media and dumb statements from teammates, and I'm looking at you, Leo Bonucci, and who, like Raheem Sterling and many, many others, is being subjected to blatant racism on a regular basis, doesn't let it distract him from his game, and I love that about him because there's no better way to give these ignorant assholes the middle finger than by scoring against their favorite club. And the evidence of that is that with his goal against Spal, he became the youngest player in Serie A history to score a goal in 4 consecutive games, and I hope he continues to prove the haters wrong. And then up next, it's Santi Cazorla. And yeah, I know it wasn't a great week for his club Villarreal in the Champions League when they lost at home to Valencia, but they did get a huge win away from home this weekend over Girona, which puts them a little bit farther away from the relegation zone, like 2 points only with 6 games to go, but still pretty important. Also, Santi didn't do too much in either one of these games, but the fact that he's back and playing well and being very influential at age 34 after all of his injury problems, it just pumps me up, and I love his mentality of never giving up, and that's why he's included in this. And then finally, it's U.S. women's national team player Alex Morgan, and yes, she should have been nominated for this a week ago after her accomplishment actually happened, but I wasn't doing the weekly Jimmy Awards a week ago, alright? So she gets her love now after she scored her 100th career national team goal, making her the 4th fastest and 6th to ever do it in this country. Also, she, along with all of her teammates, took an important and necessary stand to have the women get paid the same as the men, which I believe is what should be happening. And though U.S. soccer didn't close the pay gap, that's a conversation for another time, Luna Bar stepped in and made sure that it did. And that's a testament to Alex and all the incredibly strong women that have represented and will continue to represent our women's national team. And now the winner of this prestigious award, the Jimmies, for being a Warm Baller of the Week, well, they're all winners. I couldn't pick a winner there. So congrats to Moise, Santi, and Alex. Your Jimmies will be in the mail. And all right, that is it. That is all I got. And did I miss anyone? Of course I didn't, because look at this face. I went to the hair first, and the hair, and the tux. This face and hair and tux don't miss anyone. So let me know your thoughts down below. Hit like and subscribe if you want more of the good stuff. And please follow me on Twitch if you haven't already. We're having a ton of fun over there. Also, be on the lookout for a new career mode dropping soon. #InyoIn. Later.